at Bundaberg Speedway. We're starting 4 nights of racing. We're racing Bundaberg twice in a row, then we're going down to Gympie, going to race there, and we're going to race at Maryborough. Now I've just come in from my first heat, and Jess has just finished her second heat. I didn't get to go out for my second heat because I f***ed the magna. Just blew a radiator hose off on my first lap, and they were saying 47, pull it in. And I thought they were saying 37, pull it in. And they said 47, watch your gauges, you've blown a hose. And I watched my gauges and they were fine. So I just kept racing. I was in third, so I thought, oh, we'll just keep going here. Anyway, so I've cooked it badly. Right, so we've topped the water up and everything, and it's like it's got a hydro lock in it, but we've bled it all out, jacked it up, all the normal bleeding procedures. Anyway, so when you turn the key and it winds it over, it shoots the water out the radiator cap back there. Just shoots it straight into the roof, and there's no way of stopping it, and the engine won't start either. It has this weird squeaking noise happening, which maybe I glazed the bores as well, so it could be an issue down further. Hear that squeaking noise? So there's 2 options from here. Option 1, we pull the heads off in the pits, and hopefully we can duck into the shops tomorrow and get some head gaskets, put it all back together, and hopefully it's ready to go. Option 2 is we find out that there's more issues wrong, and we just put a whole new motor in here and hook it all back up by tomorrow as well. So I guess I've got to work out which one I want to do. Righto, so we moved the car over here next to the trailer, and we're going to use that as a workbench. We've decided we're going to pull all the heads off, have a look at them, have a look at the bore, and make a decision from there. Hopefully they're all in pretty good condition. We can slap some head gaskets back on it, put it back together, and go racing tomorrow. Right, so we're just going to make a start pulling this off. Jess is about to hop in the car and go out for a 3rd heat, and we'll go up there and have a watch heat. So we're going to do a compression test on this, and while we're waiting for Fletcher to bring the compression tester over, I thought we might give it a bump over and see if water comes out any of them, or I was thinking more just one of them. Have a look. It's coming out.
Both.
And that one.
That one too.
I can see water in there. It's on all of them. How can it be on all of them? Righto, so you just saw the water squirting out of all 6 holes here where the spark plugs go. So we're thinking it could have cracked heads, or the head gasket blew all the way through, which is probably also pretty unlikely. So we're just going to keep pulling it down and have a look. Hey? There we go. You can go put that on the trailer. We should have probably blew all that dirt away before it all goes inside the engine. Throwing it down.
I'm sure.
So we quickly did a compression test, and these front 3 cylinders, even though they've got water in them, they still compression tested over 100 psi, 150, 120 and 150, but we sort of probably stopped a bit early here. This one was down at about 60 psi, so it's clearly got an issue compared to the rest of them. This one was a little bit low too at 90, so it might have an issue in this area of the head gasket, or maybe in this area of the head. So we're going to continue digging further and see if we can find a problem.
Magnet sticks.
My fingers are fat enough to grab them. Just poke the finger in them. Oh, we got to put it back on. Hold on. I'll tell you why the head's not coming off, because we didn't undo the head seal, you know, that we put on for street stock, so then you can't take your head off. As soon as you break the seal, then you need to get a new one, and you need somebody to inspect your engine to get a new seal. So I've got to break that.
Uh-oh.
There we go. We're going to get an engine sealer to come over tomorrow, and we'll just put this head back on, and they're going to seal it up for us. All right, here we go. Head's coming off. Woo! There we go.
Oh, they're full of water.
Don't lose which way that goes. Why are the valves rusty? Look at the pitting on that one.
Which one? This one and this one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Those 2 are low, this one really.
Right, so we've looked at the head and we've looked at the head gasket, and we can't see any major fault with it. There's a lot of theories getting around the pits that maybe it's blown through the edge of here, or maybe it's going between the two layers of the head gasket. So anyway, there's water in this side as well, which means this head gasket might be a little bit iffy. Even though we still will produce some pretty high numbers for the compression test, we're going to pull this head off now and have a look at that one as well. Alright, so Dad undid the head bolts on the other side, and we just want to make sure that none of the bolts are tighter or looser than the other side. So Dad's going to undo them instead of me, because he knows how the other side was.
Yeah.
That one felt loose.
No, cut that seal. That's done. Yeah, it's got to cut.
That's a good way to scratch it. Righto. Right, so we looked at that head and we've gone into town and got all the bits to put it all back together. However, we can't get a new head gasket or new bolts, so it's going back together with the old head gasket and the old bolts. But we are going to use this spray stuff, like that copper coat spray. And we're going to split it into layers and spray it all on. And a fair few people here have done it before and they reckon it works well. So we've got the slow process of cleaning up all the head gaskets and the heads and the block and all that, and get it all ready to go back together. Yeah.
Don't get too close.
Better than what it was.
So, your head is warped, mate.
Is it?
Yeah. There's a lot of daylight under there, mate.
Yeah, shit.
And this one's the same.
So, unless they're supposed to be like this, which I don't think, cylinder heads have a bend in them, like kind of like a banana, but a little bit less curve. Have a look here.
See the light in the middle? It shouldn't be there.
Is that your problem?
It just means we got to do those bolts up extra tight. Right, so we've had a specialist come and have a look at it, and he says it'll take up. We pull it down tighter, it'll take up, so that's what we're going to do. He reckons that probably 1/2 mil or just less than 1/2 mil gap under the centre of there is all right. So let's press on. Right, so I've just drilled the little pop rivets out so I can split this gasket into two, so I can get this stuff in the gap of the gasket in case it was leaking between the two centre parts of the gasket.
Yeah, we'll walk back up. That's it.
She's sat on. Righto, so we've just sat this head on here. Graham's here, he's just had a look at it. He's given us the okay to put the heads back on, and he's going to seal it back up. So just putting these couple of bolts in here, then we'll start torquing it down and we'll get these head seals back on it. Right, stage 1 is 40 Newton meters. This feels tight already.
Yeah.
25.
Still couldn't touch it. Yeah, you could jump in and stand up. The corner was still over your head.
Didn't snap.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I put them up 10.
Yeah, I just hear that.
Oh, that's so scary.
Did that pull the threads out?
Yeah, it's right on the edge of how tight they
I
can
would
be.
have. I would have.
Fuck, that was pretty tight. Righto, so we've got it all torqued up. and none of the bolts snapped, so we should be right to go. And we did push them a little bit over tight from what they're supposed to be, so it's time to get the timing belt back on, put all this intake back on, and all the other easy bits back together now. So about 12:30 when we start racing at 4 o'clock. No leaks for me.
Yeah, hope.
Okay. Don't know what the time is because we'll be going flat out, but probably about an hour or two before I can't go for a scrutineering anymore. And the engine's still in quite a few bits, or more bits than I'd like it to be in. So it's sort of rushing here. So what we have done, we have put the timing cover back on, or most of the timing cover back on. We've timed the engine. All the belts are back on, the alternator's back on, exhausts are done. Just going to do this valley bit now. I guess that goes on like that, this way. O-ring. Righto, so we've just finally got it all back together. We've put water on it, so we're about to find out if it's going to start or not. We've got a whole crowd here to enjoy the moment. Alright. Oh, it sounds better. We've done a thing. Wonder how long it will last.
Might need more water in that
So it ran for about 15 minutes and now the oil is full of water. Righto, so it's day 3 of racing. We've got up early this morning, still working on the car. So we thought we'd blown the head gasket again, even though we'd just done all that work. But we stayed up and we compression tested each cylinder and it was still pushing 120, 150 each cylinder. So we're probably thinking, after a little bit of research and a help from another fella, it's probably got a broken water pump. So we've bought a water pump, it's at Repco. We're just going to run into Repco as soon as it opens, and I'm going to pull this off in the meantime and hopefully put a water pump on it, and it's probably fixed, maybe, hopefully. So if it is fixed, we're going to soot it down to Gympie, just a couple of hours away, and we'll go racing tonight, fingers crossed. If not, I think Jess is going to sit out tonight.
Yep.
Jess is going to sit out tonight. Right, so we've pulled the water pump off here, and it looks like there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So we don't actually know what's wrong with this car at all. So we'll put the new water pump back on and see if it makes any difference whatsoever, which it probably won't. And then we're going to have to go home and scratch our heads about it, I suppose. A pretty disappointing way to end our 4 nights of racing, or end my 4 nights of racing with just one heat. But I mean, it is what it is. That's racing for you sometimes. That's cars for you sometimes. It took a little bit of fiddling to get it out, so hopefully we can get it back on here. Right, so we've put the water pump back on, and nobody has high hopes for it. So we're probably just going to try and bleed it, and hopefully we'll know within 10 or 15 minutes after running it whether it's going to be fixed or not. But I think everybody knows it's not going to be fixed. Talking about it's doing weird shit and all this, and it's like the hoses are around the wrong way, and I'm like, we've been racing it for so long the way it is. Anyway, I've just remembered and discovered that the hoses are the wrong way around. The other day I put a new clutch in it, so I had all these radiator hoses out of the way when I had the gearbox off, and I've put them on the wrong way around. So all of this, I've lost 2 days of racing, maybe 3 days of racing, because I f***ed up when I put my car back together and got the hoses the wrong way around.
this will be.
Right, swap them around.
Right, well we haven't fixed it yet, so that could be not the issue, but it's most likely definitely
So
the
you
issue.
warped your heads because you up.
Yeah, because I made a mistake.
One last time, pushing in for water. Sounds like water's going in this time.
Yes, instead of trying to come back out.
Right, so switching those hoses over didn't work. The car's still got major issues and it's probably head gaskets or something, who knows. The only way to sort that out is put a new motor in it. So we've got two options here. Go home, put a motor in it, but I'm pretty rooted from doing all that shit to the car. Or go racing, just take Jess racing, follow around, try and make her car fast for the next 2 nights. We don't know what to do, we're at the track, it's getting hot, we get sunburnt, so we're going to flip a coin. Heads, we repair the heads, as in change the motor, and tails, we hightail it down to Gympie and go racing for the next 2 nights, Gympie and Maryborough, right? So we'll flip this, one flip is the answer. What is it?
Ah!
So, apparently we're putting an engine in this car tonight.